Cara here. I'm back with another Friday art escape for you guys. Today I thought I'd just do it in real time. So I've got out my new Canson Art Book 1. It is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. It is only 100 GSM, so what I do is stick 2 pages together just because I tend to put a lot of medium on my pages. So what I did is I grabbed out my collage fodder and I've sorted through and got out a few pieces with similar colours, kind of gone with a pinky purpley theme today. So I've still got this next to me just in case I want anything else. I've also grabbed out my larger folder of collage fodder, so these are all kind of bigger pieces. Use it up paint bits, some jelly plates, some nice napkins and some book pages. So I've got quite a lot to choose from, so they're just off to the side. So I don't work consecutively in my journal. In fact, I purposely try not to. I tend to head for the middle somewhere and then work one way, just so that my journal can kind of stay a bit flatter. So I've got a few pictures of me and my husband that I printed using my HP Sprocket, which is this little handy portable printer. You just connect it to your phone, buy these little packs of papers, and it's all in there and it just prints them for you. I'm not sure on the size of them. It might actually say on there. So they are 2 by 3 inches or 5 by 7.5 centimetres. So they're quite handy for journaling on the go. Depends on what you do. Little scrapbooks maybe. So yeah, I thought I'd use these in my spread today. So I kind of want a collage-y background. These are the pieces I picked out in these pinks and purples colours. I've got a little bit of paper from my Dina Wakeley Media Ledger Journal when I've done some cut out pages, quite like that because it's got text in the back. I've just got a couple of book pages that I've smushed paint on to clean my paintbrush. Again, this was just a paintbrush cleanup. This was an art journal page. I did like a little online class and I really didn't like how it turned out. And I did it on loose leaf, so all I've done is torn it into strips and I think it makes quite nice collage fodder. And again, this was just a piece from a cut out page in my ledger journal. Again, the colours just match, so I've pulled them all out. So what I like to start with is kind of something to base my photos on. So I thought these might be good, or like a long strip. So I'm thinking I like this, but I do want to add a bit more pink to it. So that's kind of why I've grabbed these out. And I do like a bit of book text. So these or some of that plain book text that I just put to the side, I think will be my kind of go-to. I don't really want all of this white, so I am going to cut these down. In fact, I'm going to tear them. And I like to do this using a ruler-ish on some sides. So I'm going to ruler side this one. And I think I'm just going to tear this one so it's not as straight, kind of get some jagged edges. That's not really going as well as expected, but hey. So, I'm just going to faff with the images for a little bit, or the collage fodder and some papers and see where I go. So, whereabouts in the world is everyone watching from? I'm currently in Morocco and it's 24 degrees outside and it's 9:30ish in the morning. So quite warm, but we love it here. So do I need the 3 photos or is that just too much? I could just use the one. I think maybe the one, and I might actually do some kind of little one over this side to kind of balance it up. I do like doing a double page spread. quite often I'll do double pages. I don't mind doing a single page, but I don't know, just something about a double page that pleases me. You'll find the odd single page in my journal, but not really that many. So I'm kind of liking those two together. I'm just not sure about this as yet. Something like that. I will maybe add some paint. I've also got these little sort of homemade embellishments. I mean, this is silly because if you walk into a shop in Morocco with a bottle of water that you're already holding, they tend to stick a sticker on it to show that you haven't, you know, tried to steal it from the shop. Our sticker came off, and so my husband coloured it in pink, and it just happened to be pink, so I'm thinking of incorporating that to my page. And these few little watercolour flowers maybe. Got a couple of little hearts. This one is from Collage Soup. Another little bit of, I think that's German script. So I kind of want to use this, and also I am definitely going to add some paint because my husband went to throw a few of these away today, and as he squidged it, it turned into this cute little heart, and he came running in and was like, babes, look, I went to throw this away and I've made a heart. So I said to him, oh, I think I want that. I want to try and print that in my art journal. So it's a bit kind of wonky, so I'm not sure I'll get a good print, but I figured let's have a go. So I'm liking this so far. Maybe that's just a little tab, I don't know. Kind of feel to mirror slightly some of this. Maybe it needs a little swoosh of paint underneath, because I kind of like where that's gone. Maybe a little swoosh of pink or purple to bring those pages in together, and then I can stick these on. I'll have to make a decision because we can't sit here all day. So I'm going to grab out my paint. So let's just pop one of these under here to prevent me getting paint on all the other pages in this nice crisp new book. And let's grab a palette, which is just a paper plate for now. I'm sure plenty of us use paper plates for palettes. Let's grab some magenta. I kind of want it a little bit wishy-washy, I think, so I'm going to water it down and maybe get some white out as well. This is just Fineliner. It's a brand here in Morocco. I'm not even sure if you can get it anywhere else, but it's here. And then I've got this children's purple because this is the only purple I could find. And then I've got Rowney graduate acrylic in titanium white. You've got to have a little bit of white, haven't you? So let's just grab my water. Oh, sorry, that's my chair. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to grab water. So I don't really want to get it on anything. These are watercoloured. Right, so I'm just going to grab a big brush. I'm going to try and dry brush it first. Just kind of in, I think. Pink with a bit of white. And then we'll see. So I do like to finger paint quite a bit, but I just figured today maybe these brush strokes would be nice. I think I'm going to thicken up that edge a bit and just swish up and down. So yeah, it's quite a nice day today, as I said. If you're from the UK, where I'm originally from, I assume it's quite cold there at the moment, you know, November. I hope you're not too cold. It is a Friday here, so You'll all be looking forward to the weekend at least. And yeah, kind of like that. I'm going to grab a different brush just to put some white in it because I kind of want to, yeah. I'm actually going to smush this, I think, with my fingers. Maybe not, actually. I'm quite indecisive. Kind of sometimes have an idea of how you want your page to look, don't you? And then whether it goes that way or not, you kind of not stuck with it. I was going to say stuck with it. You're not. You can cover anything up. You know, more and more paint. Oh, sorry about that. I had to knock on the door. Isn't it funny? You never ever, not never ever, but barely disturbed, and then start to do a bit of filming, and what happens? Everyone wants you. It's happened to me a few times. I'm actually liking how this is looking now. I may add a little bit more white once that purple is dried. I don't really want to get the heat gun out. It's very noisy. I mean, it's just a hairdryer, so it is quite noisy. But I think I'm going to do the same kind of little swish on this side. Yes, I am. So let's grab a bit of kitchen roll. So yeah, this is my first page in this journal. I don't know about you guys. I work in multiple journals. Now that I've managed to get a few here, I feel free again to kind of express myself. But yeah, I enjoy working in multiple journals. I've got, I think it's 5 now. I used to, in the UK, when I lived there, I used to have like a collage journal and a scrappy book journal and a junk journal, etc. However, being here and deciding what I could bring on the plane meant that I had to scale those down quite a bit. So I now, well, when I came, actually, I brought with me just my, what did I bring? I bought a journal that I made, so out of some old jelly prints, and I brought with me my Art by Marlene perfect size. I'm really regretting not bringing some of my other journals. However, I am popping back to the UK in April. Now, I know that seems a long way away, but I have managed to find this. I have also managed to get myself a Dina Wakley ledger journal because we went over to Lithuania for me to have a little operation, and I managed to get a delivery there of the Dina Wakley journal from, I think it was Art from the Heart that delivered it. I really like that. What I think I want to do is add some of those cardboardy shapes. So I love circles. Maybe a little bit of white stenciling to tone that kind of back a bit. But if I add some circles and some of my husband's little hearts, I think then the stenciling, I think I'm going to actually quickly blast, oh, if I dry it I'm going to have to move everything. I'm going to quickly blast it with the dryer, and then I'm going to add some stenciling because I think the stenciling needs to be done beforehand. So I'm just putting all this under here because this hairdryer is quite strong and everything will go everywhere. So excuse the sound for just a second. Yeah, see, loud. But just a quick blast, I think it just needed that. That's gone, oh, quite underneath, and then being the clever person that I am, I've managed to get that on my face. Okay, that's off. Okay, so I'm going to grab some stencils. Now, I don't have my whole stash of stencils with me, as I said. or I don't think I did say, but we travelled with just hand luggage when we came to live here. So we had a small suitcase that fits, you know, over your head in the aeroplane, and the bag that you put under your chair. That is it. That's all the belongings we brought with us to kind of live here. We have since bought some bits and bobs here. We have also had one trip back to the UK since we came here, and what we tended to do was go over with a pretty empty case and bring a few more bits back. However, unfortunately, art supplies are heavy. So these are the entirety of the stencils that I have with me until I can go back in April. I've got quite a mix. I bought like most of my favourites, so I kind of think I'm going to go for a circle one, and if I can find it, I know which one I want as well. I'm just going to have a quick flip through these and see if I can find it. I think maybe that one. Maybe that one's tiny circles. I don't think I want tiny. Aha, here it is. This stencil is one of my absolute favourites. Now, it looks a bit strange to you guys probably. It's a paper artsy stencil made by Tracy Scott. It's PS234. To be more precise, it's half of PS234. Because of space, this, when it was full A5 size, did not quite fit into my plastic container. So I cut the other half off. So it might look a little bit strange to you, but it is that Tracy Scott stencil. And I have the other half in there. So I'm just going to do a little bit of white stenciling here, just to, I don't really like these sponges either. I cannot wait. We're actually popping off in 3 weeks, and I've got some sponges, you know, like the makeup style sponges. Oh, I loved using those. I've got some of those waiting for me to collect. Oh yeah, like that. So I can get rid of these horrible dish sponges, and they'll just be my backup. But I think I've got a pack of something like 48. That should see me through till April, I hope. So with my stencil in here, I'm just pouncing my paint through. Sometimes I swipe it. I used to use the Ranger daubers. Daubers, is that how you say it? But again, space and weight meant I had to think about what I was bringing. However, as I keep mentioning, in April, we're popping back to the UK for, I think, 6 weeks. Visit family and friends, and just to get a few bits sorted. And we're going to go there with just our rucksacks, so just the under seat. And what we have got for the way back is hold luggage. So I've got a big suitcase currently at my mum's, and I'm going to fill it with the art supplies I can for the weight. I'm allowed 26 kgs, and that will be my art supplies coming back with me. So I'm just going to grab this cardboard tube now. I'm just running it through my purple paint just so that all the edges are covered. Now, obviously this is a cardboard tube. It might not give me a perfect circle. I'm okay with that. If you're not, then you might need to use something else. But I like the inconsistency that using found objects gives you. So that's actually not too bad. Bit of a dip there, but that's the shape of the cardboard. I have another one there, and then I'll have a heart, I think. And again, when you're stenciling, stamping, using tools like this, anything really, try to make sure you take some of it off your page. It will just help your page with the flow. Also, apart from when I'm doing kind of clusters like this, I tend to put everything in 3s. Now, I have done 3 lots of stenciling. I've also on this page done 3 circles. However, I've done 2 here, but I'm fine with that because it still makes an odd number across the page, which is pleasing to the eye. So I've got 5 throughout my layout. So again, like I said, apart from the 2 kind of very identified areas of paint, I've gone with odd numbers. But if I just, you know, splotched another bit of paint here to make it 3, it wouldn't look as good. It would look like I've just put it there, you know, no real reason. Now I'm going to try my husband's little homemade heart. See if I can get a print from that in the pink. It's not all touching, so I might have to be a bit cleverer with this one and kind of wobble it. Okay, so that's not really shown a heart, but do you know what? My husband made this, so it will be what it will be. I say made it, you know, it wasn't intentional, but it was quite cute the way he come out. So I'm just gonna probably, the strip's gonna go there. I'm gonna actually add this one off here, I think. Now, if this bothered you, apart from trying to restamp it like I am now, you could get your paintbrush and fill in those little gaps where it's not really, you know, a heart. But this is mark making. This is, you know, extra layers, and I'm not bothered that it's not perfect. Some people are, I get that, and you know, you do you. This is just me. So I am going to, why I've got this paint, I don't like wastage, as I said. I use many videos I've told you about my Use It Up journal. I'm just going to add, these are quite big splats, but that's fine again. These things happen. If I used a smaller brush, I'd get a smaller splat. But just a few, I might do this in pink as well actually. I'll just get a bit more water on there. The more water you add, the lighter your splats will become, obviously. So if you don't want them to be sort of too light, make sure you add that bit more paint in as well. I love a splatter. I tend not to know when to stop. So yeah, if you don't want that all over your page, then obviously don't do that. I'm going to actually get my splatter brush now to do the pink ones. So I want them to be pink. And grab another water. There we go. Get that a bit wetter. That should give me some good splats, I think. Maybe it's still a little bit thick. This paint here in Morocco, oh there we go. It's quite plasticky compared to what I'm used to. I mean, back in the UK, I mainly used either the paper Artsy paints or the Dina Wakley Media paints, and I didn't find them as plasticky as this that I've found here. I've actually had to buy myself a spray sealer to seal my pages because otherwise they've been sticking together, so I've had to put parchment paper in between them and all sorts. So I'm gonna, I don't know if to dab these off. They might, let's just try somewhere that's not gonna, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll my kitchen roll across. They kind of splat out or disperse a little. I quite like doing this, but yeah, that's it. And do the same on this side. And then I'll give it a little bit of a dry with the dryer, but most of that water is now out of them. So excuse the noise again. Let's just make sure they don't go everywhere. 1 second. So my little mop it up tissue went on the floor there. The hairdryer, as I said, is quite powerful. Right, so I've got like some little imprints from the kitchen roll, which I actually really like, because if you tried to create that, you'd never get that kind of, you know, half-ish there look. So I'm going to bring back my little clusters now and see if I still like what I kind of thought I like. Now this little circle is going to get all hidden here, but that's okay. Maybe something like that. We'll see. Where did I put this one? Here. So again, don't want to cover all of that. I quite like it. So I'm thinking I might actually bring this more down so you can see some of that. Oh, maybe. Does that look... something like that. I do feel I need like some hearts. I've got these which were just for a stencil and one random, which this one from the Collage Soup book, but it's very red where I'm very pink, so I could recolour that. I've got these two little watercolour elements that maybe could just add something. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw around these in black like these ones. So I'm going to grab out my Uniball Eye Fineliner. I love these pens. They are, I'm just going to check. Yes, they are waterproof. I thought they were. I'm just going to sketchily draw around this. I don't want it to be perfect. I'm just going to do it a couple of times just so you can tell it's not meant to be perfect. And then I'm going to cut them out with a little edge to them, like a little white border. Just fussy cut them. I don't really like fussy cutting, but I mean, I'm not sure many actual people do like fussy cutting. But, you know, can't stick everything down without cutting it out. So yeah, this is my husband, Mitch, we call him. He is currently out on a run. He's just started like a new fitness program that he's devised himself, a 12-week program. He's documenting it on Instagram. If any of you guys are runners, wish you were running, would like to know how to start up running, he's called The Running Mitch on there. And I'm really proud of him because he's 57. He won't mind me telling you, it's on his profile. He used to work in the city when we was back in the UK, and you know, sat behind a desk, spreadsheets every day, you know, travelling up to London. Some of you probably do it. And he got to a point where he wasn't loving life, let's say. And he got to a point where I got quite worried about him. And we'd already decided to leave UK. We had decided we were going to go and live in our camper van that we built. But upon doing that, we fell in love with Morocco and found out that actually we can live quite cheaply here in Morocco, quite a nice life. And so we tested it out for a while and we fell in love with it, and now we have an apartment, which we both really love. And as I said, he's now getting back into running. So he may come home whilst we're videoing this, but normally he jumps straight in the shower, running along the beach. Obviously, we're going to be sweaty. Even at the first light of day when it's not that warm, it's still warm here, so... yeah, so give him a follow, The Running Mitch, all one word, on Instagram. He's doing really well so far. I think he's started about a week ago, I believe. So I'm not going to use this heart, I'm going to use these. I've got 5, which is good for my odd numbers. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle them. So maybe, I don't know actually, is this going to be too much over here? Maybe just on the page. Maybe like a little one here and one here. And then these two, kind of feel I want one of these smaller ones over this side, so maybe like this. Something like that maybe. I'd always like to put them a bit sort of wonky. I'm liking that. I had these little frames that I was kind of going to put around my picture, but now I'm not sure I want them. I could go round it with a Stabilo All to bring that darkness in. And I might just put a little bit of stamping in the background just to bring a little bit more black into my page. But I think I'm happy with the collage elements, so I think I'm just going to stick those down. Now, my photos, as I said, they're printed from my sprocket, and these are self-adhesive, so sticky backed photo sheets. So all I've got to do is peel that off to stick that down, so that's quite good. As I said, these are great. I do recommend them. So yeah, I'm just going to stick these where it all is now, I think. I have this weird little way to stick. You're probably going to see. I am going to start sticking from the top to try and keep things where I've kind of got them. So I'm just going to move all of this out of my way. Oh yes, I forgot about those. I like those little... Let me show you them once I've got this out of my way. Put that back in my box. I've got these little leaves. I kind of like them. They're hard to stick on, but they do give a little something else. Maybe just poking out of one each side. Maybe this is just too big for this side. Do you know what? It's just paper. It's my book. I'm just going to stick it all down. So I'm going to use my Bic Glue Stick, solvent free. I did start using, I think it was a Norris one, but it wasn't as sticky as I would like. I can get Yoo-hoo here, but only in the bigger sort of places. So I run out, so I had to go to the little local place and grab this one. But this has worked really well. So I'm just going to stick those there to keep those pieces where I kind of planned for them to be. And then I'm going to pick it all up pick it all up and stick down. So if I stick my photo down, that will hold those pieces as well. I'm going to actually do that. Now, I don't think, I kind of want this under there, I think. This little pink bit's not really working for me at the minute. Okay. Let's have a little rethink on just this bit a minute. Yes, no. I like the leaf, but just really not feeling it at the minute. Little bit of faffing. Who don't love a little bit of faffing, eh? Oh, I like that on the corner. Maybe like that. Maybe this doesn't go here. Maybe instead this just pops on the corner. I'm going to leave that off, I think. Let's just see. It's going to go there. So these, I fold the corner over, but that's probably because of my nails. Can be a little bit tricky. It's a bit like double-sided tape. Sometimes I struggle with that. Try and get that straight. Like that. So that has now stuck the leaf, my husband's little colouring in, and that, and stuck it to some of that background. So that's actually worked quite well. And then what I want is, I think I'm going to glue this, but this back bit, I think I'm going to stick with double-sided tape, because this paper here, it's watercolour paper. So it is quite thick, and I'm just not sure how well it will stick. I'm going to have that there. That was stuck, didn't I? Yes. So what we'll do now is we'll pick this whole thing up. I'm going to put some double-sided tape on here. And that a bit long, never mind. There. Just to try and connect the pieces a bit. And then we'll do a bit here and here, and again now you get to enjoy me struggle trying to peel the backs of these off. What's that getting stuck? Oh no, my heart has got stuck on the background, not quite dry, and it's kind of pulled it off. Maybe I'll stick that with a bit of tape as well, we'll see. Keep it away from this, it's a little bit tacky still, that pink. Oh, that come off quite easy. Thankfully, because we don't want a video of me just trying to peel up this now, do we? So all the collage fodder that I'm using is basically stuff I've made. I think I did a quick at the beginning, but I tend to use old book pages, stencils and stamps, bits of cutout that I've used on other projects, and then tear them up. Or like this one, if I don't like a page, tear it up, you know, it's just your book, tear it out of your book if you want to tear it out of your book. Or that was on loose leaf, so that was quite easy to just tear up. Just gonna, yeah, just gonna pop that on there. A little bit stuck to my finger. This gets really sticky here because it's hot, you know, the weather. Everything gets quite either stickier, like the tape, or dries really quick. So, where was this? Down here somewhere. So, sometimes, you know, I think I've got time with paint or whatever, and actually it you know, dries up quite quick. But, you know, I think I'd rather be here, living my life here than in the UK. So if I have to have my paint dry up a bit quicker, then I just have to work with it. So I like that. I like how that's looking. I'm going to put some stamping in the background. Excuse me, I think that's probably my husband. So yeah, that was my husband getting home for his run, as I said to you earlier. So yeah, I'm happy with this side. I'm going to stick this side down now and do exactly the same by sticking this one first so that it will keep the others held. Although this does overlap the page a little as well. So I'm just not going to stick it to that bit there for a minute, so that I can stick this lot down. Again, I'm going to use this to kind of stick everything together. This little blue bit is the image, so that's got a sticky on of its own at the minute. Pop this on here. Glue this one down. And then, sorry if you can hear the kettle, I've just realised my husband's put that on to have a cup of tea. Us English and our tea, eh? First thing we do. So yeah, just get this one stuck down. Yeah, I'm liking this. My two little hearts. And then I think I'll get some stamping for my background, just to add a little bit of black in there. To match, you know, where I've drawn around the hearts and those little flowers, those little handmade embellishment flowers. I'm going to have this one here. I'm not going to have these in the section. I'm going to actually have them off. A little bit of tape there, I think, because that bit's a bit sticking up. Didn't go all the way to the end. That out. So yeah, put these in the bin. And then we'll just get a little bit of stamping on there and then we're done. So, tidy this up a tiny bit. Again, with my stamps, I've bought very few with me in one of those little plastic containers again. Oops, little bit of an avalanche there. So again, but I have two favourite stamps, this one and this one. They are both from Paper Artsy by Tracy Scott. This is TSM01, I believe. It's a mini. And this came out of a pack of stamps. I will tell you the code. This is from TS065. There's quite a few stamps on with that one. I'm just going to do a little bit of stamping. I love a dot. And see if I can do this without getting it on my photo. Again, in 3 places, because it's me. Might do a bit more down there to make that bigger. And then just a little bit of text. Because again, I'm actually going to add a tiny bit there. Pop a bit there, pop a bit there, a little bit there, and I think that is probably all I'm going to do. I really like it, it's really simple. I did have some words, not really sure, I think I put them back in the box. Let's have a quick look. I found it from a magazine. And I think I might have lost it. No. Yeah, I think they're gone. Unless they're under there. No. So I did have some words. I can't remember what it said now. If I find them, I will add it on. This is the joy of putting everything back into your box, isn't it? If I find them, I'll add them on and pop it on the last image. But yeah, can't see them there. So I think that's me done. Hope you've enjoyed just, you know, a little real-time video rather than all the sped up ones. I do like the white space I've managed to leave. I do this kind of layout quite often. I quite often build up one side and then little splurge on that side. I don't normally put a picture on both sides, but as I had them, I think it was taken on the same day because we look like we're wearing the same clothes. I must have made him take his hat off for that one, but we only travel with minimal clothes, so it could actually be a different day, and we've just happened to have the same colour clothes on. So anyway, that's me done. Thanks for watching. I will see you next Friday at 5 for your Friday Art Escape. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.